It is the Riot Podcast. Ooh, boy.
What?
Well, I'm just looking here at the stuff for the podcast, and sure did save a lot for the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know
how good it all
if
is.
It's really worth saving.
Hey, again, we say this every so often. We've got some quantity at this point.
Oh, there's quantity.
So I know podcast listeners appreciate that. The quality, we'll let you decide.
We start with counting our blessings, move into some neck gaiters, some llama popcorn, AMC's reopening.
That one I didn't see coming.
Trip to Planet Fitness, Forza Horizon 3, Avatar, the show, poop beaches, coughing on people, ice makers breaking, Kentucky derbies, Instagram lawsuits, G4's returning, what not to do at a job interview.
I think there's a lot of good stuff.
COVID spray.
A lot of stuff you actually might learn a few things from.
I'm in no position to teach you. I mean, I'm in a position, but I wouldn't.
You don't have to if you don't want to learn anything from us. You can just listen.
Don't put too much into what I say, okay? Not a lot of stock, I believe, is what I'm wanting to say here.
Well, if you've never said hello, make sure you follow us at RadioU Riot. That's our Facebook page. And then you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's also at RadioU Riot. We'd love to have you experience our other stuff that we do, including our artist interviews, Obadiah Plays, our after shows, our food fights, lots of other stuff you can enjoy too.
Sorry, I stretched and yawned.
It happens.
You caught me. Well, listen, enjoy our podcast.
Thanks for listening today. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
I was listening to a podcast this morning on my way in, and then I even read an article last night. Nikki, they say the real secret to happiness
is
to joy, to day-to-day enjoyment.
Yeah.
Is just being thankful.
That's good.
So we're going to pick some things right now.
To be thankful for?
I'm starting, okay? Hot water.
That's a good one. You love that one.
I had a shower this morning, and with minimal effort, because getting out of bed is hard, I experienced a hot shower in which I got a hot shave with some shave butter. Mm-hmm. And that's amazing.
That was enough, right?
Think about that.
That was good.
That's a good start. What about you?
Let's see. I got in my car and simply drove here. It wasn't a let's get the horse and buggy or, let's walk the entire distance. It was very easy to get to work.
And you didn't have any car trouble?
Didn't have any trouble. Nope. It was all temperature controlled and just a nice smooth ride in.
Okay.
It could have been longer and it could have been worse.
Okay, my turn?
Yeah.
Coffee.
Aww.
Coffee's great. And to think that I was able to, again, create hot water, and I had the wealth necessary to acquire coffee and then to prepare it.
You know where it's that graph sort of thing where it's you put the thing in the bubble in the middle and then it spiders out?
Yeah.
Yours is all just hot water in the middle and then it spiders out.
Hey, hot water even plays a role in your car.
Hot water brought this whole thing here.
Really, it did. Without hot water, this whole thing doesn't happen.
This is brought to you by Big Hot Water.
Unless, of course, there's a cold brew involved.
Well,
all right.
Still.
Nikki, it's your turn.
Happy to be here. Just happy to have
just
a job.
Here?
Yeah, have
a job.
A job
okay.
to go to.
That's good. In fact, that's something that many people are having a hard time doing. So, like the fact that we got to come to work today, pretty big deal.
So we're supposed to just stay thankful all day?
Yeah. Nikki, we're each going one more time.
Oh, we are?
Rule of threes. Here we go.
Okay, right? One more.
I'm wearing different clothes than I wore yesterday.
Wow.
Think about that. Like from my underwear to my socks.
Brand new.
To everything outside. These were cleaned in hot water.
Stop it. Stop it.
And here they are. That was just on demand.
I can't even anymore. I can't even.
Your turn.
I'm thankful for... Okay, last one. Mine is ice cold water. Because I don't like hot water.
Come on, water.
Mine's
right?
ice cold water.
Water.
Water. Water. Oh, that was the best. So see, now we're supposed to be feeling better, and we keep going with these happy thoughts of the day.
And I'm telling you, like, it's awesome. Great.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
We need to talk about wearing masks. Now, you probably have seen, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or any other kind of social media, people pass around these things to show you that, like, masks are worthless, blah, blah, blah. Masks are not worthless. It's just that you got to understand, when they tell you to wear a mask, they're playing the odds. Yes, wearing a mask, a little bit of virus can get through.
Sure.
But it's less than if you weren't wearing the mask.
You didn't have one.
See the idea there? It's not that it's this impermeable membrane through which nothing will ever pass. It's that it lessens what comes through.
I also sometimes feel like, at least for me, when I have it on and I'm in public and stuff, it helps remind me to keep a distance from people too, which is the other side of things. You're supposed to not be right next to somebody.
So we've seen it, all of us, where some people are out there with masks where you're like, bro, you're from the future.
What is that?
And then other people have like a napkin with tape.
And it's under your nose.
Yes.
It's not even right.
So, I mean, it's not your chin that needs protected. But you know what? That's a story for another time.
We've seen different variations of it.
So, according to the Washington Post, Duke University has done a study in which they took a look at 14 kinds of masks to determine, like, hey, well, what's the good one here? And the N95 mask continues to be the one.
That's the top tier one.
That's the good one. But you know what they found?
Whenever I see someone with one of those, I was like, you were a planner. You got in on that. You thought in and you got it. For the rest of us that didn't get one.
Yeah. So the one thing that did come out of this, and I'm seeing lots of these, a lot of people wearing the neck gaiter.
Yeah, it's the wraparounds, like scarf one that you pull up around and it stays around your neck.
And you really look like a bandit. Like, you know,
it's not a bandana.
Other people look like a bandit, but now you're just like straight up bandito. It's real.
They usually come in like camo.
Yeah. Well, the research found that those are not only not effective, but they make virus transmission worse.
Now, okay, I read something yesterday.
Here we go. Come on, Nikki, bring the questions.
It's not 100% like that. So they were
back 100%.
They were backing off. They're backing off a little because what you don't realize is for a lot of the neck gaiter ones, you can put in filters. They have spots for them.
Okay, all right.
So the question is, are you putting in a filter or are you just wearing it as is?
Okay, well, here's what they found. And again, you can go ahead and do the research. I'd say text me, but our text messaging not working this morning. You can look it up yourself. Google works just like texting, except we aren't there. So
some people appreciate us there.
Yeah, and that's fine. But what they're saying is that with the neck gaiter, it is effective at stopping some of the large kind of particles coming out of your mouth and nose. But it lets smaller ones through and ends up projecting them at greater speed through the gaiter than it would through something else. So as a result, you're somehow managing to spit virus farther than ever.
Speed it up.
With the gaiter.
But remember, put your filter in, and does that fix it?
Well, it could.
It could.
This hot new information you're bringing, didn't know about it.
Oh, it's like when people say, should you have coffee in the morning or should you not? Like, there's an argument pro and against.
For both sides.
Yeah.
Sure.
So just realize what's the best one that works and then make that one work the best. Like, make sure you're doing all the stuff with it.
Mm-hmm. So, at the end of the day, though, N95, baby.
Well, at the end of the day, don't forget, shop.radiou.com. You've got a RadioU mask.
It's got multiple layers.
Okay, so it's comfortable.
It actually
great.
is comfortable.
So that's available too, but there's lots of options for people.
I was told that while wearing it, it brought my ears forward and I had a Hobbit-like appearance.
Oh, no.
But just keep in mind, I have a huge head.
He has a bigger head, so that's not going to be... Don't be afraid of that.
You'll be fine.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm fine, too.
Wow. Not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
All right, Nikki, I've just found Act 2 Popcorn is proud to announce that in stores now, you can get Llama Party popcorn.
What is that supposed to be?
Well, this Llama Party popcorn is going to be I know it's going to be a huge help to you, just like it has been to all of us.
I'm so excited.
It's popcorn that tastes like cotton candy, and it pops up blue.
Well. That'll do. That'll do, Llama. That'll do.
I mean, that doesn't sound so bad, does it?
Sounds good.
Yeah, would you eat cotton candy popcorn? I actually think it sounds terrible. I'm trying to stay positive, but
I know.
that doesn't
You're
sound good
we're
to
up
me.
for something new. That's fine. I actually can only take the cotton candy flavor in very small doses.
Yeah.
I don't mind having some cotton candy.
Yeah.
But I don't like if it's then something else cotton candy flavored. It really gets too, sugary.
It's funny. I remember as a kid, a little kid, hating cotton candy.
Really?
And as an adult, when somebody gets, when there's some cotton candy, as long as I don't eat too much of it, it's you know what?
It's a nice treat.
This is all right.
But the flavor itself, we'll see.
Well, you know how
Maybe
it
it's
is.
good on popcorn.
Some stuff, when they extract the flavor, it is not good.
Yeah.
But then again, some things, when they extract the flavor, it's magical.
For this, you'll have
Trying to
decide.
think of one of those. Cherry.
Cherry.
That's really good. Cherry flavored things are good. Sorry, it's all I got.
Well, I think it's just, not coming from a natural flavor, one found in nature.
No.
It's a manufactured thing.
Well, I'll say this. If you or somebody you love is...
I know a few. You love cotton candy.
Well, and is into the whole llama scene.
Well, then.
It's a thing, Nikki.
It's a double.
Yeah. Then I'll just remind you that it's out there. It pops up blue. What more can we say about it?
And what company is it you were saying?
Let's see. It's Act 2
Act
popcorn.
2, their popcorn?
Yeah. It's the good stuff, I guess.
Give me movie theater butter all day, any day. We'll take that one.
I would be, negligent if I didn't remind you that if you are having a llama party and you are getting this llama popcorn, that a couple of years ago I did release a llama dubstep album.
We had a single.
Which, it did fairly well for us. Sold about 652 copies.
It was free, actually.
But I'm telling you,
building a brand. You didn't want to charge.
So I'll just tell you, that llama dubstep, bring it back.
Actually, what I would love is if you had the song and every time you made the popcorn, you just played it. Just always had that going.
Oh, I feel it. TikTok
so every time the popcorn popped, you just start the song.
Come on, fire it up.
The worst of the worst. Are you ready? The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
Okay, Nikki, they're bringing it back.
What are they bringing back?
They're bringing it back.
What are they bringing?
It's the opposite of the postponement music.
What do we get?
It's the back music.
Yay! What are we getting back?
AMC Theaters.
Oh, they're opening too?
They say that they are opening on August 28th.
So next
which would
weekend?
No, it's 2 weeks from tomorrow.
2 weeks from tomorrow?
Is when that will happen. And they say, hey, y'all, listen, not only are we reopening, but we're going to have new movies and stuff.
No, you're not. It's the same 20 movies every other theater that's reopening is giving.
They say when they reopen on August 28th, they're going to have The New Mutants.
The New Mutants?
Which is that it's a 20th Century Fox. No, it's 3 years old.
It's 3 years old when they made it.
But it's never been released.
I don't know. I still think you could say that's not a new movie.
I'll say this. If they really open, if they actually do it, I might go.
You might see it?
Yeah, and it's going to come down to what time during the day are they open.
Well, the other one near us was they're not doing a full day, so they start later in the day than normally a movie theater would.
So because of the goofy schedule that Nikki and I live, if they could get a noon showing, I'm there.
You're there?
If I got to wait till 4 o'clock, it'll never work out.
You're out. So then I wonder, the following weekend, will Mulan go into some theaters? Because I know it was released to theaters internationally. It's supposed to come out, but I wasn't sure here if Disney Plus had it totally, or if it'll be in some theaters.
Well, they say, now Mulan does not get mentioned here, so I don't know, but they say that Tenet will be out on September 3rd.
September 3rd.
Which that's the Thursday before Labor Day weekend, I believe. Which, again, okay?
Could be a possibility.
I'd be game for that.
If not, I'm sure on the list is Ghostbusters, Jaws,
Raiders of the Lost Ark,
E.T., all these old
Beauty
movies.
and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast is always one.
They're all showing the same movies.
It's the same 20 movies, but it seems like at least they'll have a couple of new ones eventually.
So they also say that they'll have a 10th anniversary edition of Inception. Oh, that's so good. Inception is so good. And as for library titles, you ready, Nikki?
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
That's one.
Beauty and the Beast.
There it is.
Black Panther. But they'll also have Bloodshot, that's the Vin Diesel movie that kind of came out, didn't really.
It didn't make it into theaters because that was the start of quarantine, but it did go to video on demand.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
That one came out in February.
The Empire Strikes Back.
That's something, yes, that they've been doing. Because remember, during the summer, that became the #1 box office movie for a weekend because it was all that was being played at the theaters that were open.
And drive-ins.
And drive-ins.
And that was also the case with...
Beauty and the Beast?
I think Beauty and the Beast and Ghostbusters.
It was an odd time.
They went back to it. So.
Okay, so AMC Theaters, which is the biggest, isn't it? It's the biggest chain. So that they're opening on August 28th.
Yeah, they say that... what? Like, okay, here's what I don't understand. They say they're opening on August 28th, but now, like, if you go later into the press release, they say that they're starting on August 21st. They're going to be offering... the
classic movie things.
Yeah. So
that's like some places are doing almost a soft opening to train employees and just kind of get the system down before they open for full days.
Let me bottom line it for you. I'd check in before you just show up.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Speaking of things being back, yesterday I went back to Planet Fitness. Now I'm planning on quitting Planet Fitness, but I think I'm going to let it go one more month.
Just to see?
Well, no, because the fundraiser's coming up. The RadioU's fall fundraiser. It's more than a month away, but
still coming up.
It is. Well, the reason I say that is because during the fundraiser, our schedules get weird and all this stuff, and so I thought, well, maybe it would be best if I would leave that option open to myself during the fundraiser so that if I wanted to get to the gym or something.
You can easily do it because you have another gym, but that one's farther away.
Yeah, I've turned into one of those people, a 2-gym person. But Planet Fitness has been so cheap, it's like,
But they don't do the pizza thing, probably. I don't think you can.
I don't think they do. I don't know. But I was back in there yesterday.
Thing, you remember the bagels?
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen.
He loved that day.
That Tuesday when they would suddenly drop a bagel on you, it was like the best day of my life because no matter what happened, I wasn't expecting it. So there was just like Suddenly Bagels.
Suddenly Bagels in front of you.
That's my new band, Suddenly Bagels.
Nice.
So good. All right. Like we're...
I feel cover band.
Yeast cover band.
Kind of.
Yeah. So I went there yesterday. They made national news because they are a huge chain of gyms. And they came out and they're like, hey, you have to wear a mask the entire time you're in Planet Fitness.
They didn't start like that, but then, things did not improve and they had some sort of outbreak at one gym and I think it was maybe Georgia or something. But then the news started saying how they want everybody to wear a mask all the time. So working out.
They clarified that.
Yeah.
If you were a Planet Fitness member, they sent out an email that was like, hey, this is not being reported correctly. So the idea is that when you go in there, you have to wear a mask unless you're actively working out. So you wear a mask in there, you get on the machine. What I ended up doing was basically I went back to the 30-minute workout area.
Oh, the circuit area?
Yeah, because I'm kind of in between routines right now. And I was like, you know what? This will be a turn my brain off and get a mostly full body workout. So I just did that. And it was me and another guy. We didn't wear masks. But the whole time you're back there, you're either on the machine or you're doing the step thing. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're actively working out the whole time. But when I left that area, put the mask on, did a couple of other things with some free weights. And when I was over there, it was basically the same thing. People wore their mask until, like, once they sat... Well, what I observed was that people, when they sat down, so like, for example, I had a bench that I was using. So I sat down on the bench And when I sat down, I took my mask off, and I left my mask off until I was done and got up and walked away from the bench.
That's not so bad.
So even resting between sets, I did not wear a mask. I saw people doing both. I saw some people that just didn't wear a mask the whole time they were in there. And obviously nobody was around telling them to put their mask on. Then I saw one guy lifting weights with his mask on through his sets.
Whoa.
Which to me, I was like, I almost want to be like, hey, we don't have to do that. But
I know, but maybe he's fine with it.
Whatever works, right? Whatever works. But that was the experience. And I'm back. I've been to the gym a few times this week. This is good. I need to keep going.
Yeah, you do better. You enjoy going to the gym more.
Yes, I really need to keep doing that. I also just want to go to bed now.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
So I feel like a companion piece to being back in the gym as a follow-up, something Nikki and I were discussing yesterday. We found out that in the UK, some people have been suggesting that obese people should stay home.
Well, they were saying that, if you are overweight, you can have a greater chance of COVID being harder on you. Would that be a right way to say that? So they were saying in perhaps Europe or in the UK that if you are overweight by a certain point, you should be definitely working from home.
Well, I got some more details.
Is there an update on that?
Well, not on the government policy, which doesn't exist, by the way.
No,
that's just something they've talked about.
They were just talking about, and then we were like, hey, everybody wants to stay home more.
If you're obese, and that is, what is that, like 20% overweight? Over whatever. Remember, the numbers are made up, but...
Well, it's enough to where you didn't think you were that bad, but you find yourself in the category rather quickly.
I think it's 5, if you're 5 points over your BMI, and I'm like 400 points over, so like I'm good. Don't worry about it.
So it's better not to look, and then people tell you, oh, that's not the right way to judge it.
No. Let's measure your neck. Oh, your neck is pretty fat.
Okay, wait, the one thing's right.
Okay, so here we go, Nikki. They say if you're obese, you are 40% more likely to suffer severe symptoms.
Of COVID?
And 70% more likely to end up in the hospital.
Aww.
So I'm back in the gym where I'm going to get COVID, where I will then suffer from greater symptoms, but I was in there trying not to.
So you don't know what to do. We should have been working out more during quarantine. We should have.
I know, like at home.
It was really hard. Like we could have.
There were all those YouTube videos we could have done.
Yeah, you look back and you're like, man, I could have really taken the time to been better prepared for this.
But, that was a time when I was visiting a lot of drive-thrus.
I hear you there.
You know what? I was helping the economy.
We were supporting our businesses in the area, which we were also encouraged to do.
A lot of local business owners, especially restaurants, were hit hard during this stay-at-home time. And so as an American,
were hit hard.
I felt like it was my duty to get out there and support those local businesses.
I know. I understand.
It's very hard, guys. It's very hard. But we're coming together as a community. And we're making it happen.
So now your body feels like, well, wait, what are we supposed to do?
My body doesn't know.
Your body doesn't. And does it care or does it not care?
My body's answer to this confusion is a Swiss cake roll.
Yes.
Actually, it's a zebra cake.
Zebra cake, man, you're back on that. We had a box of them.
And did you see there was a second box that came in? And I came in. Okay.
Where was the second box?
That's what I want to know.
Who took the second box?
It went like this. I come in one morning. There's no Little Debbie's. I come in the next day. There are oatmeal cream pies. And
a box of zebra cakes.
No. And something else on the this is round 2.
Round 2?
And they were on the thing. And then I look, and there's a box of zebra cakes in the trash, which means...
someone ate them.
Someone ate all of them during the day. And I'll tell you what, all I need them to do is get COVID-19, and we'll see who has the worst symptoms, and I'll know that they...
I don't think that's what we're going to be. That's not the answer.
Not the answer.
I understand you're mad, but I don't think that's responsible. And maybe there's more underneath in the cabinet. We never look in the cabinet. There's one where it's like, if we need emergency food, there's like Pop-Tarts and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Maybe there's boxes of Little Debbie things we didn't even know.
Here's what we need to do, Nikki. Like, we have these security cameras all over the building.
Except in...
Right. And
except in the break room.
Here's the thing is, like, those security cameras, you can monitor people. You can listen to people.
You can watch them. You can watch them eat.
You can just sit at home and watch them. But you can't talk to them. And I want to put a camera in the break room that has a speaker.
Like, hey guy.
Hey, what you doing with those zebra cakes there? What's in your pockets?
Well, it's not fair because we get in so early and then we're not here later in the day. We don't know what happens. But by the time we come back the next day, they're always gone.
You know what? Maybe we're looking at it the wrong way. They're keeping us from being even more obese.
Exactly, from even more of a problem.
And that means, so we should thank them, really.
Well, if not, when we get in, we got to start hiding a couple, like stashing them away. And then when we come back in the next day, we have them.
Well, that doesn't sound like we have a problem. What's this?
It doesn't.
I'm hiding like a squirrel. I'm hiding the zebra cakes.
Then I was trying to come up with an idea.
I think it's a great idea, but when I say it out loud, it sounds fat.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
Hey, one of my all-time favorite video games is going to be pulled from store shelves, Nikki. Pulled from digital store shelves.
Oh, you know they're serious when that happens. Which game is it?
The one, Forza Horizon 3.
What happened?
Well, they say that game has reached what they're calling its end-of-life cycle. And so they won't sell it to you anymore.
So they're putting it in the game vault?
I guess. They did the same thing with Forza Horizon 2.
Oh, I guess it makes more sense if they've done it before.
So after a while, they just kind of retire that game. And in fairness, they do that like with Madden games and different things like that. It's not like you can go online in the Xbox store and buy Madden NFL 2002.
And it probably costs them more it would be like having servers for it. It would cost them more to run whatever few people are actually playing it.
The servers stay on. So if you've bought it, you can still play it online.
It's very slow.
They're just not going to sell it anymore.
I see.
Which is why, I made sure I got my Forza. I had Forza Horizon 2, so it didn't matter, but bought up all that DLC just so I had.
So what are they at now, number-wise?
With Horizon, they are at 4. In this fall, or no, I guess it doesn't come out this fall, but with the Xbox Series X, see, they have two types of driving games that Microsoft makes. There's just Forza Motorsport, and that is, I think they're on number 7 or 8 with that one. And then there's Forza Horizon, which is, they're currently on 4, and that's kind of a more arcadey, fun. That's the one I play.
Well, of course it is.
Because it's the not serious.
It's fun.
It's not as serious. Like, it's serious, but not serious.
Well, you enjoy that type of game.
I do. The Forza Horizon games, probably my favorite games. Some of my favorites of all time.
Oh, then this makes sense. It's not like it's a current game. They're retiring.
But 3 is so good. If you've got an Xbox or a PC, I couldn't recommend that game enough. I loved it so much. Now, I don't play it very much anymore because I play 4 all the time. And I've been playing 4 for 2 years. I still play. They have these weekly challenges every week.
You still get into it?
Oh, yeah. I play. I mean, I suppose I miss a week here and there, but almost every week I will log in and run the races that they'll have. Sometimes
it's nice to have a game you don't have to think too much about, or it's not this big, huge campaign. You're just going in to play for a few.
It's my Animal Crossing, Nikki.
Basically, yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
Check in a little bit every so often. You're fine.
That's pretty much where I'm at.
Just make sure the island is okay and you're good.
Yeah. And in the case of Forza Horizon 3, the island is Australia.
Yeah, you just make sure your game's working, and that's all you got to worry about.
Just make sure Australia's still there, guys.
So Forza Horizon 3 is being retired.
So you have, I think it's the end of the month to still get it. And then, like, the servers will stay on, but they're not going to sell it online anymore.
The Riot has now been downloaded. I hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Remember the cartoon?
Yes.
Then there was a movie?
Yes.
And then they were making a TV show for Netflix?
Yeah, okay. So that's probably what I haven't seen any of those, but I've seen the cover art for the Netflix one.
Sure. Well, the animated show came to Netflix, I don't know, a few months ago, and people were very excited about that. But even more so was the fact that Netflix was like, hey, we're doing live action Avatar, And the movie has a tendency to be very poorly regarded. Like, people don't like the movie at all.
Was that an M. Night Shyamalan one? Yeah.
Yeah. And he says that people in Europe understood it, but Americans don't.
You guys did not.
I'm not making this up. I listened to the interview. You said Americans just don't get what he's trying to do, but in Europe, he's very well received.
Is that all of his movies? That's what he was saying?
Yes.
Well, the one that he did, was it what is it, Glass or?
Yeah, well, Glass was the...
And then the other one?
There was Split.
That one, yeah.
And then there was Glass.
Yeah, those I think were received a little better.
Glass was okay. I actually still have never seen Split, but I watched Glass and it was like, it's...
And then he did the Apple TV show, which we did not get to watch.
Oh, that looked like too much for me.
A little too? Well, we're not European, so...
Yeah. I think if I was European, I would have been totally into it. Yeah. But my American sensibilities couldn't handle it.
I just want something a little more lighthearted.
So, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the big hullabaloo is that they got the creators of the animated show to come and do the live action show. And they announced last night that the creators...
to voice it or act it? Or?
No. To write it and produce it. Like, to make it, basically. And they announced last night that they're leaving.
Well, that didn't work out. I mean, they're also not European, so it just didn't work.
Maybe they didn't appreciate the vision.
So it's better to not say anything until once something is done and completed and it works out, because then you have to go, when it doesn't work out, you have to tell everybody.
You have to tell everybody.
Then that makes everybody think something's wrong with the project.
That's why, like, you don't change your relationship status till you've been married for a year.
Just in case. Just to make sure everything's fine.
Don't be too optimistic.
Well, now that's sad, too.
I'm sorry. It was just the first thing I thought of.
That's what popped in your head.
So, yeah, with Avatar, they're out.
So the creators of the animated Avatar are no longer going to be working on the live-action Avatar.
No.
Last Airbender for Netflix.
You know, Nikki, they should bring us in. We don't know anything about it.
We'll be a fresh take on it, won't we?
We'll be a fresh take on it. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
No, we'll go in and be like, hate it, don't like it, what's this?
What if does he always have to bend air?
I don't even know enough about the stuff to make a snarky comment about it. I just would not be of any help.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like they all kind of have like martial arts. So there's the 4 different elements, air, fire, water, and earth. And they can, like, through their martial art, throw Hadokens, I think, of air. I don't know. But you know what?
Get him in quickly because Obi's set.
He's obviously the one to lead this reboot.
He's the right choice.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Not too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's The Riot on Radio U.
Now, Nikki, Chad Hooper. Mm-hmm. You know Chad. Hoops. Isn't that what we always used to call him? What's up, Hoops?
I don't know if we do or not. I don't think we do.
Well, we've lost track with him over the years.
It's been a while?
But he's now the president of the Professional Managers Association.
No, what is even that?
What?
What's the professional?
Nikki, as a manager yourself, aren't you a part of the Professional Managers Association?
I'm not a member of that. I didn't know I could.
Don't you get the newsletter?
I don't. I don't even have the card.
Don't you get the weekly email full of tips to make you a better manager?
Had no idea.
How to squeeze blood from a stone. Management in the COVID era. See, it practically writes itself.
It does. That you're the guest writer for the article.
Sign me up. He says, and I quote, that it will be, if Congress does not make a decision by Friday. What's today?
Today's Thursday, so tomorrow.
Well, they got time. On the stimulus checks, you will not receive a stimulus check until September.
I didn't even think, I guess deep down I didn't think getting it by this month was an actual still option.
Me either.
So by him saying September, that didn't feel as threatening.
I know.
As when someone else said it before.
When Hoops said that we were getting one in September, I was like, great!
Hey, that's next month.
Great!
I don't know.
Really?
Maybe this will be easier because for everybody, for a lot of people, not everybody, we had a hard time connecting our accounts to our stimulus package in the beginning of last one. So I wonder, like, if this next one, it'll just be easier.
Maybe.
Because the last one was a little bit more frustrating at the very start of it.
Probably. He actually says that Congress, that the IRS is now in a position that it is easier for them to do this because they've done it once already.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be as hard.
Yeah. It's probably like when you wear those magnetic wristbands, how, the first time you do something, it's hard, but they say once you put the wristband on, it gets easier.
It's not as difficult.
Have you ever worn one of those?
I have not. What does it do?
It's powerful.
Is it?
You know what, Nikki?
Later, okay?
I'm planning on buying a bunch with my stimulus check and then selling them out of the back of my car.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's just save it. Let's save it and see what we need.
Not getting it, but okay.
So we'll see what happens.
Okay, all right.
So they're saying that if they don't make a decision by tomorrow...
Yeah. No, they aren't saying this. Hoops is saying it.
Hoops is saying that...
He's the president of the Professional Managers Association.
That there'd be no way it would happen this month, but if we get an extra stimulus thing, it would be in September.
Yeah. That'd be great. Just in time for my birthday.
Hey, bring it back in, remember?
Whatever.
Don't go spinning that thing.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Now, I don't want to get caught up in a bunch of interstate politics and a lot of interstate rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
But, and it's a big but, Nikki. It's a big but.
What's going on?
Well, New York and New Jersey are like, hey, if you guys come here from almost anywhere, Ohio, you have to quarantine for 14 days.
Do they still have the checkpoints? Like if you go in most areas, for a while they were making you pull over, especially like if you had an out-of-state license plate, and then you were supposed to, I think, promise that you would
Scout's honor.
Quarantine for 14 days. I don't know like how into they were to making sure, because if you go to like Hawaii or a few other places, man, they'll track you, they check on you, they make sure you are staying in a hotel room and you're not leaving until the 14 days are over.
Right.
And I think you have to get a test at the end or you have to be cleared.
Right. So all of that being said, Nikki, I just want to say that I don't think Jersey has a lot of room to be looking down their nose at the rest of us when 6 of their beaches just closed down because they tested positive for too much fecal bacteria.
I don't want to go anyways then. Why do they have to test that often?
I don't know. Ask Poopy Beach over there.
I think beaches are more like that than we realize. So I don't think anybody, I think we all need to take a hard look at our ocean beaches and our lake beaches.
I'm just telling you right now that they don't get to look down their nose at me anymore.
They don't?
No. Listen, I'll come and breathe on you. It's safer than going swimming at your beach.
Now,
New Jersey!
I don't know if this was a trend, but I have seen recently a lot of TikToks where it's showing people who are on the lake or on the beach who don't have a toilet around, and they think it's funny to...
Like poop in the lake?
Poop in the water, basically. And it is gross. And, man, they're having the best time. And I don't know why.
Well, Nikki, alcohol helps a lot.
I think that's 100% it.
They are.
They don't care.
Well, I would say they're drunk, but, like, I've spent time with friends completely sober that did things that you were like, man.
What are you doing?
You need a test. A cognitive test.
So
Somebody
Jersey
needs to check on you.
New Jersey failed for those beaches, or
failed?
They failed the test?
Yep.
So they're closing them down?
You know what? Bottom line, you need your own pool with your own chemicals. And that's it.
Do whatever.
And no one's allowed to get in it but you.
Aww.
That's the world that we need to live in.
Well, it's not possible, though.
It's not. I don't like
You don't like when you find out what's really going on,
no,
do you?
No.
I know. And you're splashing and having fun.
I'm having fun. I accidentally drank some. Nope. You know what? Just turn this thing around.
And
just take me
how
home.
bad does it have to be for them to shut it down for that reason?
Because remember, when they say it's exceeded acceptable levels, that means there was an acceptable level.
There is. There always is. And you'd be surprised at what that level is. So if you were planning on going to the beach in New Jersey, make sure it's not shut down.
Guess who's not going to the beach in New Jersey?
Because of some problems that they were not taking care of.
That's right. Thanks, everybody.
This is why we can't have anything nice.
We can't.
You're listening to a morning show hosted by two people who absolutely despise getting up in the morning.
Will you give me a break one time?
The Riot, Radio U.
Nikki, would you be willing to, or let me rephrase that. How much would I have to pay you to run into a town hall meeting and start coughing on people and saying I have COVID?
Oh, I wouldn't do that. I don't think you could pay me enough.
I do.
Unless this
I think everybody has a price.
Well, if there was no one who had a camera, like who could record it. So if no one filmed me and I didn't live in the town.
Okay.
Then I would. If there was no way anyone could see it was me afterwards.
So you're saying basically in a consequence-free environment.
Yeah, then I'd be happy to do it if you paid me.
Okay.
But not in this day and age because it's going to be recorded anyways.
I'd like to see it. Yeah. I would like to see you running around coughing on people.
I don't even want to do that.
I have COVID.
That is so immature. I don't want to do that.
Well, it happened in Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, this happened a couple of months ago, but he was just now sentenced. He got an 18-month prison sentence that they suspended.
Oh.
So that's like not even getting one.
Well, maybe he'd been in jail for a little bit before they...
Well, they say that he is obviously very sorry for what he did.
Sure.
He's very sorry. And, Nikki, you could be very sorry.
If I've never had any prior offenses and I was very sorry, I bet they would probably let you off.
So they're going to... Well, I mean, he got a suspended sentence. It's probably still in his permanent record.
That probably means as long as you don't run into any other meetings and start yelling stuff, then you're clear and good to go.
Wouldn't you love to get a chance? This is the thing I always think when I look at like stuff like this in the news. I would love to, like 30 seconds before he goes in there, just have a couple minutes with him. Like, okay, explain to me what you're going to do. What's the plan?
I don't think he has a plan. I think people snap. I think there's a ton of other factors that we don't know. And the mask might not even be the thing, but it's the last straw. It breaks and then you lose whatever keeps you calm for the rest of the time.
Right.
I think it just snaps and then you just lose it for a moment.
Have you ever snapped?
Probably.
Have you ever in a moment just lost it for a moment?
I would say yes, but not publicly.
See, the only that happens to me like every once in a great while. I will say something that somehow manages to get past all the filters. All the everything. It just comes out and I'm like, oh! And
you just lose it.
So, like, for me, it was say something I regret later. But for this guy, it was run to the town hall, cough on everyone.
Maybe he was already at the town hall. Maybe he didn't even have to run there. He was already there.
He was already there, and it just...
So, sometimes we all bottle it in, and it explodes, and you can't keep it in, and he just lost it.
Okay. All right. So what you're saying is this could happen to any of us?
Based off the Reddit forums that we follow, there's some, normal-looking people that you wouldn't think would lose it, but just absolutely do. Yes, I think it's more common than we realize.
Well, that's just as concerning as the story.
And I'd be worried that you could just turn into that. Like, you just want to be careful. Let out some steam in some more healthier ways so that you're not just building and building and building.
That's a good call.
And then one day when you're at a meeting, you just completely can't control it.
I run around coughing in people's mouths.
Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I have thought many times, I'm always impressed with people that can fix things. And I'll see somebody fix something and I'll be like, man, I want to be the kind of person that can do that. Mm-hmm. The kind of person that can fix stuff. Here's the thing about it that I haven't been connecting is that in order to be the person that fixes something has to break. You can't just fix things that aren't broken. Maybe that's what's wrong with a lot of things in the world right now, right? Fixing things that aren't broken. But you can't. You have to have things break and then fix them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm staring down at something else that's broken. And you know what? I don't want to fix it. I want to replace the whole thing.
What broke?
My ice maker in my fridge.
Oh, I thought that already happened.
Yeah, I fixed one part of it. Now the other part broke. I've actually done 3 repairs
on it
to the system there. Yeah. And so the ice maker is broken. So now there's one last thing I can do. I can replace the actual ice maker.
Yeah.
That's about $60.
And then if
and
not,
I can do it myself. While I could not take the actual device apart, the system where I've been replacing components, I know so much more about the ice makers and fridges than I ever wanted to know.
Yeah.
So much more, Nikki.
So if it doesn't work,
this is how you become. Oh, I want to be the kind of person that fixes things. That means you got to get down with the broken junk.
Well, that means the sadness of something breaking in the first place.
That's right.
But if not, then you have to not have an ice maker or get a fridge.
Yeah, we'll just buy a new fridge. What's that, $2,000 for?
Well, you don't have
I want a good side-by-side with a pull-out freezer.
I feel like an ice maker, it is possible to live without one. Not fun, but it is possible.
I would like to introduce you to some of my compatriots and have you say that
to them
and see how they respond to the idea of living without an ice maker.
Or you could get one of those, like the ones that sit on your countertop and it's like Sonic ice and stuff, the little small chewy ice that people love.
I would go so far as to say that I might know people that if the ice maker doesn't work, they're not even sure why you have a refrigerator.
What's the bother?
What's the point of even owning it?
I see what you're saying. So you better fix it. It better work out.
Yeah. So that's the part, though. Like I was saying, it just occurred to me that I want to be the kind of person that can fix things, but the only way that works is if you deal with broken things.
Yeah, something has to break. And boy, you're right. That can go way deep.
I'm ready to change my mind. I want to be the kind of person that is so rich that I throw things away that don't work and buy entirely new things.
It's not under warranty?
No, that's my new. I've changed my mind.
Okay,
I no
you want
longer want to be
time.
the kind of person that can fix things. I want to be the kind of person that is so wealthy that I completely replace something for another thing.
When are you going to work on that?
Like a Mac owner. I don't know. I'm ready. When can I start?
Don't do it.
When can I start?
No, I mean, like, when are you going to try to fix the ice machine? Because don't do it over the weekend or tomorrow. That'll just ruin things.
Well, I got to order the part. So that'll be fun. I ordered it. Now I have to wait longer.
Oh, lots of fun.
I'm having a great time. Real talk.
The Riot is well-versed on many different topics.
They're shy at first, but they're quite skilled at conversation.
This is The Riot on Radio U.
I'll tell you, just what I've been getting this morning is a lot of people asking about the Kentucky Derby.
The Kentucky Derby?
What's going on with the Kentucky Derby, Obadiah? I need to know what's happening.
When does the Derby normally happen?
September 5th, Churchill Downs.
We're close. And doesn't if anybody's ever had a Derby pie, sounds so good.
Come on.
Warmed up with some ice cream on it. That could be a really good breakfast thing.
It's so good.
Yes, it is. It's like a chocolate chip sort of thing. It's just delicious.
It's so good.
But anyways, back to the Derby.
Yes, normally about 170,000 people
travel to it
for the Kentucky Derby.
Never gone.
Yeah, me.
It's not really our scene, but I bet it's a huge tourist thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of tourism for that area.
So, it's interesting. They say that the 141st Kentucky Derby will not have general admission this year.
What does that mean?
It means that you can't go in, basically. They're going to be reducing the size.
How are they saying it? Again, this could mean you are not elite enough to get into the Derby.
That's pretty much what it means.
You have enough money for special seating areas.
Yeah.
So weren't we talking about the London Marathon yesterday?
Yeah.
And how it's closed down to the average runner, but if you're an elite runner, you can go.
And screw those guys.
So I think the Derby's pulling a London Marathon and saying you're probably not general, like you're too general to go, and you can't afford how to get in.
But Nikki, what's a general supposed to do when they're no longer a general?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of, it's gambling. Yeah, there's a lot of money involved in the Derby, so they're not going to just they're just not going to say no to it.
Well, they don't need people that are
Derby.
there for the horsies. They need people. They're there for other reasons.
There's the hats and the drinks and the gambling, the money, and the horses.
I'm just here for the pie.
Yeah, right.
So they are allowing 23,000 people
To get in.
into the Kentucky Derby this year versus the normal roughly 170,000 people.
That's similar to what they had been talking about doing for college sports. I mean,
Right.
that for some of the conferences that got changed, but at first they talked about just limiting the amount of people that can get in.
Well, why did they cancel college football, or at least some of it? Because of the safety of the players. So let's talk about the safety of the horses.
Yeah, you're right. A dog got COVID. Can a horse get COVID?
All of a sudden, your horse has a dry cough. It's really tired, and, it can't taste the hay. So you got to...
Not really. That's what you've done. Nothing.
Have you talked to your horse about its symptoms?
No, I normally don't.
Well, you know what? It's time. Have that conversation.
I was thinking also more of the jockeys and making sure of their safety as well, not just the horses.
The who?
The riders.
Oh, okay. I get it now. It's not what I thought you were talking about. It's fine.
But that's coming on earlier in September. So the Derby's still happening, but they're just going to limit the people that can watch it there.
That's what they like to say. They like to say that.
You're listening to the worst of the riot. Radio U.
What are they doing a lawsuit for?
They say that Instagram is illegally storing biometric data on you.
Yes, all of them are.
Yeah, okay.
All are.
Okay.
I didn't think we'd question this.
Well, I mean, this would be a way, though, because since they didn't ask, this is a way for you to get some money for it.
Yeah, you'll get the $1.25 when everybody gets in.
The lawsuit that was filed says that the company is collecting, storing, and profiting from biometric data of 100 million Instagram users without their knowledge or consent.
Basically, your data goes to companies that they sell out. So the companies, well, actually, it's you they're selling out, but they'll sell your information to them so that they can have it
for
their own things.
There's a certain amount of data that you already have signed away, but they're saying like, hey, you guys haven't signed this data away. And as a result, they're stealing it. This is illegal. So we're suing them. So there you go. Yeah,
isn't this what Google was going through, or where we should be getting some of that money?
No, it's a senator that is a part of a group that is basically saying, hey, you should own your data.
Yeah.
And if Google or anybody sells your data, they owe you money.
You should get money from that.
Right. And of course, their argument is we're providing a service in exchange for that data, which
is also true. But if they're saying that certain parts of the data is being sent off but not disclosing all of it,
right,
then that also still proposes a problem.
So make sure you sign up for Instagram today and follow us.
Don't ruin the small few things we have, okay?
Can't we just have fun?
Can't I just have fun? I know TikTok's bad, but I still have fun. I know it's all bad, but we still having fun.
You know what? I'm fine with it.
It's everybody's doing it.
Just whatever.
Or I should say every company is doing it. It's a very common, unfortunate thing.
I'm sure that there's tons of my personal data out there that I'll regret, that I wish wasn't there.
But it's there.
I gave during the last fundraiser, and all I got was this crappy morning show. This is The Riot on listener-supported Radio U.
Who wants a new job?
What are we going to do?
I don't know, but I got a list here. 7 things that you're supposed to not do in a job interview that's going to kill you.
Give everybody a moment.
Okay.
Ready to listen. So these are things you should not do if you're trying to get a job.
They say if you're in an interview, you should, and you are not showing passion or interest in the job, then
don't even bother.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just they go to an interview or they apply just to apply, but the passion needs to be there if you really want them to hire you.
Right. I mean, sometimes when they ask you, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And you're like, man, I don't freaking know. Is the comet going to kill us all? I didn't see myself in the stay-at-home quarantine. You got to be careful.
Think about it first, what your answer might be.
But,
I've been in a lot of interviews where someone's answered another job completely, and you're like, well, wait, why are we doing this?
What are we talking to you for?
What are we doing here?
Okay, so other things not to do for your interview. Do not arrive late. Mm-hmm. You should be early.
Don't be very early, though.
5 to 10 minutes
That's
early
perfect.
is perfect because you want to
seem eager.
Yeah. The other thing you shouldn't do in this interview, do not badmouth a previous employer.
That's important.
Listen, I'm going to give you a heads up. Don't ever in business badmouth a previous employer or coworker. Just don't, because the first thing I think when you tell me something bad about somebody else is, I wonder what bad thing you say about me when I'm not around.
I don't want to find out.
It's the first thing that I think about. Make sure, okay, this is stuff to do for your job interview. Make sure that you do some research about the job and the company.
That's good.
So that you know something about it when you go in there. They say if you go in blind, they'll know it, and it's not good. Do not appear untidy. Make sure that you dress appropriately and cleanly. So, all right, maybe you did walk in with just a T-shirt on. Make sure there isn't a big honey mustard stain on it.
What your breakfast was.
I mean, as the interviewer, I can have honey mustard all over myself.
Well, also know your job and know like what style they're kind of looking for their employees.
Yeah, they say absolutely, positively, no matter what, don't touch your phone.
Oh, during it? Don't even bring it in.
Yeah, don't
put it away.
No phone. No phone at all. They say that is like the death knell of you. Like, absolutely not. Don't touch your phone. And finally, do not bring food or drinks to an interview.
That's smart.
So they say that some people are like, yeah, if you bring a bottle of water, that would be okay.
Or like I've had people bring in coffee or something, or they were drinking it. But
yeah,
some people need to have a support item.
Right. Something to hold on to.
Yeah, something to hold on to, because, you bring in people for interviews and they can be nervous. So maybe that's not bad.
I don't know. They say water only.
Water only?
And absolutely no food. If you're offered something, totally different. But don't bring it into the room with you.
So these might help you get a job.
Yeah.
And I know you'll be in the interview being like, what did Opie and Nikki say? What was that list?
I want to grab my phone, but that's the one I remember I'm not supposed
to do that. Just make sure you go in and you know a bit about where you're going in. Show some enthusiasm with it.
Yeah.
And that should carry you through it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
A little enthusiasm. It's not bad.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I came late to the party, as in it was almost over. And some of you may not even know what I'm talking about when I say this, but G4, it was a network that was supposedly for gamers that was on cable. And they had a daily show called Attack of the Show. And
is it still around, though?
It's not.
The network?
It's not. I started watching that, I think, just before they got, they were off the air and gone and all that kind of stuff. Well, they're bringing it back. We don't have all the details yet as to the what and the why, but it looks like they are bringing it back, and it looks like a lot of the people that were involved in the original G4
are coming back too,
are going to come back and potentially bring Attack of the Show back. It went off the air in 2014. Okay.
So I'm sorry, did you say, I know the show's off the air, but is G4 still around, or where would it come back on
to? It's not. I don't know, but it looks like it will. I know that I have heard talks that it was coming back, and that I don't know if it would show up on cable or would it just show up online.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but the news is that Olivia Munn, who was one of the hosts of Attack of the Show, has signed to come back and be a part of it.
She left and did some movies.
She did.
And then I'm not sure what else.
Okay. The only two that I can think of is she was in Iron Man 2, but I believe her scene got cut. Mm-hmm. And she also played Psylocke in X-Men. Wait a minute. The one with Oscar Isaacs and the makeup that you couldn't tell was him.
I can't help you with that.
Oh, the one before Dark Phoenix.
It's someplace.
Apocalypse. I got it.
Is that it?
I got it.
Hey!
I got it. She was in X-Men Apocalypse. That is not a good movie.
Just to let you know.
It's not. She was probably in some other stuff, but I don't know what it is. You would probably recognize her if you saw her, but I don't know. Maybe I could be into that. Maybe.
If it just becomes a YouTube channel, that'd be fine.
Sure. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. But it was one of those things that when I found Attack of the Show, which again was like 6 years ago, once I found it, I was sad to see it go because I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. It was like all the really nerdy stuff from the internet that I love. It had a show.
Well, G4 has to recognize, though, coming into the market now, even
So
though they'd
different.
be coming back, it's so saturated with, that side of the news that there's not really a need for another one.
I will say, though, if they could put together, whether it was daily or even weekly, kind of like a show that was decent interviews with people that actually make video games and or movies and like that kind of stuff, if they could package that together and not make it something stupid like TMZ or whatever, but like actually like cool and showing you like newer, I would be very interested in something like that because, I mean, yeah, I can go online and watch hundreds of billions of hours of people playing video games. I think it would be cool to get some behind the scenes insider kind of takes on the creation of them and stuff like that.
Maybe that'll happen.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on Radio U.
So, Nikki, social distancing or physical distancing.
Yeah.
Because, Nikki, what we need is to maintain social intimacy even though we're physically distancing. Because we need that. We're people. We have feelings.
They say that even when you're wearing your mask and you're distanced from people, with your body language, you should still be able to show kindness, love, respect, that sort of thing.
Those sorts of things.
Well, I was sitting somewhere yesterday. I had a mask on, and some lady was next to it, and something was going on to where I think people were pretty unhappy with her. And I turned over just to smile at her to say, like, hey, it's okay, not a big deal. But because she couldn't see my smile afterwards, I thought, I think she just thought I was turning around to, like, give her a glare, or like to say, hey, can we stop what we're doing that's bothering everybody? And I felt so bad because I wanted my body language to show how, like, it's okay, it's all right, supportive.
It does remove a lot of expressiveness. I was talking to some friends last Sunday, and I was like, hey, can you guys tell I'm smiling?
I know.
So I was wearing a mask.
I'm sorry. It's like, here I am 6 feet away from you, and I'm trying not to look like I'm being mean to you.
Well, I am looking here at a study that was done by the University of Florida, and here's what they're saying. They've been studying people in hospital rooms that have COVID, and they're finding out that you could be spraying up to 16 feet away.
So we should be farther away?
Yeah, we should be 16 feet apart, probably.
Well, why bother even being in the room? We can't. Most rooms don't have the distancing
How long?
the capabilities.
How far across is this room, do you think?
Probably
15?
I would say 15 or 16 feet.
Maybe it's 20.
I don't know.
I bet it's like...
Lay down. Just
I'm
measure
literally
you.
trying to imagine.
It's like, how many OBs is it lengthwise?
I never know that stuff. I'm no good at guessing how big a crowd is or how long or tall or whatever something is. I can never get it.
Well,
right.
At least for our studio, you could only get like 2 people in here then at each end.
At the corners.
At the corners.
You'd have to be in that corner.
And then you'd be in that corner, and maybe we'll get by the 16 feet.
So they said, now keep in mind, they said, this is what they said. They said between, we're saying 6 feet, but they were able to get virus samples that were, contagious between 7 and 16 feet.
With people who had an active infection, right. That 7 to 16 feet away from the patients was a possibility.
Guys, what's going on? What? It is so...
You can't. You can't start saying that because then there's no place to go.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying is what's going on? I've got a friend's family. The whole family has it. All of them. They all have it. They've given it to each other. They are locked away. And then I've got other people that are French kissing strangers in the streets. And they're just we're fine. Whatever. I got this lip fungus, but other than that, it's cool.
I think it's very hard to be the in-between right now. Just right in the middle.
I don't know what's going on. I don't. Whatever. Trying to smile at people. They think I'm
They
glaring
can't
at
tell.
them.
I know it's hard with the body language stuff. But this would be then you were not even in the same area, so they wouldn't even notice you.
You know, my answer to all of this has been, I'll just play Halo, but they just postpone that.
Stop. If we keep going, you're going to get more upset.
It's falling apart.
I know.
It's falling apart.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Hey, Nikki, did you know that as early risers, you and I theoretically do an extra 20 to 30 minutes of physical activity more
a
than
day?
people who don't rise early?
I don't know. I guess I thought because we tend to slow down in the evening and afternoon earlier than maybe more people do. I thought we averaged out.
I don't know.
We get up way earlier, so we start, we start our stuff earlier.
So they say that, well, okay, for men it's 30 minutes. For women it's about 20 minutes more. I don't.
What's the difference?
Get
I'm just
mad.
teasing.
Hey, listen,
I'm not going to get mad at that.
Get mad at the people in Finland, okay? I didn't write it. It's their
There's something
research.
with that.
But it's still a thing. So they said it was about 20 minutes more of activity, 30 minutes for men. And I feel like this study may be true of some people, but it's a blatant lie when it comes to the riot.
It's not true for us. No, I do think I slow down later because we just get so tired at the end of the day.
Oh, my gosh.
That
And then I get in bed and stare at Reddit for hours when I should just go to
That's
sleep.
when we should go to sleep, but I don't want to go to sleep.
I don't either.
Because, I have to get up early, but I don't want to have to go to bed early. I saw someone.
It's bad enough you have to get up early, but go to bed early, too. It's the worst.
Man, I got so annoyed because someone was saying, okay, here's like the healthy tips. And if you get up at 6 a.m., which is when we start our show.
Start the show.
They said you should be going to bed at 9 p.m. And we get up way earlier than the time we start our show. So, when do they expect us to go to sleep?
Apparently, 6:30, 7?
Actually, probably around 7:30 would be when we should be going to bed each night, which is when everybody else is still active.
Look, I can't do that.
And I think we're the difference because we get up way earlier in the morning, but then what do? We sit in here for hours and hours and hours, so our activity is actually a lot less.
Oh, no, Nikki, no. We're talking. And sometimes I get up and get
activity. Well, yeah, you do get up and get
one,
coffee.
It is. And two, I go to the break room probably at least 3 to 4 times per show getting coffee and stuff like that.
Compared to someone else's job where they might have more movement, I don't know if we're clocking in as much.
I mean, I'm not saying we're construction workers, okay?
We're not out.
Okay? I'm not saying that.
But we're getting something?
Compared to somebody let's say that you worked at a job where you were answering a phone all the time, they're not allowed to get up and go away from their desk. They're chained to it. So you and I, look at all that.
we get our walk around the room every so often.
Yeah, they don't get that. So that's we're way more active.
I guess. But I don't want to go to bed at 7:30 in the evening.
I know.
To compensate getting up as early as we do, even if it does mean being less tired and more active.
I don't know what it means.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
Name any politician and you told me they were a park pooper, I'd be like, oh, yeah.